Hey everybody, good evening to you all. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Thursday or Friday Eve if you are on the Monday to Friday schedule. We'll get started here pretty shortly. I accidentally missed one by like literally a bit, like a minute here, but it's okay. We'll still talk about it because it's still up on my screen. Congrats on first ET. Hilltop, how are you doing today? And Picture Perfect Pythons, howdy to you as well. As usual, there's been quite a few lately, I think for a while now, pages that is of ball pythons. That is remaining the case today. However, I highlighted about 13, 14 of them.
Probably switch.
You can hear me, by the way, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We're doing a different mic setup today. I use the mic that I'm using in the videos now. That's what are you pointing at here?
Cam.
Oh yeah, I will. We got the camera back too. Currently bidding on the ODYB pin, 6% hypo from Kindred. I did see that one. I don't think I included it here. So unless you want me to, I won't throw any attention. Kindred, he doesn't need any help selling his stuff. He's awesome. Right, there's another royal one that got, I think, 2 days. I think I know what you're talking about. Yes, and I have that one, if that's the one. In fact, I think it's the last one. And if it is the one I'm talking about, this one is for sure a het this time. Alright, let's go ahead and put the camera on. Cam full screen, right? Cam full screen, right?
Yes.
Cool. There we are. Hello, everybody. Alrighty. And then I do computer cam when I want to switch to the other thing. I do computer cam when I want to switch to the other thing. Cool. I'm a boomer when it comes to streaming. Only reason I'm glued together is for him, is because of him. Alright, let's go ahead and get started here, though. Alrighty. This is the one we missed, by the way. I wanted to get that one in there, but yeah, we started a little early, mostly because I wanted to hurry up and get a few of these things in and whatnot. But we're gonna take a look at it anyways. It looks like it officially did end. I'm gonna refresh it just to make sure it did. So it ended at that. And it's from Brock Wagner. A really cool sunset. He makes really great sunsets at that. On top of that, it is a het hypo, but there's quite a few sunsets. There's some awesome genetics that are popping up on the auctions now that I don't think normally you would see. And I think some of it is people maybe getting stuff out that maybe they held back that this one I don't think is a hold back on 115 grams, but in some cases they were holding stuff back and that maybe they they changed their minds on, or they were last year's babies that they hadn't sold, so they're kind of hitting here and you can get a good deal on them. So those are my theories anyways. But there are some more sunsets and het sunset type stuff, so take a look at this one. Again, it's giving me that error whenever I go on here. It says login, but it doesn't matter for this. This pastel sunset, 66% het hypo right here. This one just got up not that long ago. It's got some good size to it. And like I said, it's still got 50 hours and a good amount of interest, so I imagine it will it'll go up, but I'm not sure it'll go up at the same rate that this one here, because Brock Wagner obviously has a pretty big name, not anything on PhD pythons obviously, but Brock Wagner is pretty well known for sunset working and whatnot. On top of that, it's only a 66% het hypo versus the obviously 100% here. So you mind putting that on your head or turning it down? I can hear myself and it is bleh. Thank you. But yeah, it's that's an obvious one. You want to shed test almost immediately, and you got a good chance of it being het hypo. So that's always awesome. That is ideally, of course, what you want, especially in a boy. But if you just wanted to work the sunset project and you were just getting started regardless, a male is a good way to go. If you already have an established collection, especially, mainly because you can immediately plug him in to everything that you have, that you can start getting combos that you make rather than combos that you buy. And that's really the ideal thing here. So always nice to see free shipping on there too. So what's up, Macamorph? Is this the first snake? Technically, yes, because the first one that I had picked had accidentally already expired because I was a literal minute late to it, but that's what it ended at. Talking about sunsets right now. Speaking of sunsets, like I said, there's a few different things with sunset in them today. This one is not a sunset, but it is a 100% het sunset. It's a clown at that. And to me, I think that's one of the coolest combos you can make is the sunset clowns. Petrogenetics is an absolute killer. They're awesome. They make wonderful stuff, and they're great people. So you know the quality in there is going to be top notch when you start hitting those sunsets. It's nice to work hets against each other too. It's a little bit of a cheaper way to do it. Now, with that being said, the female sunset het clown, that would be, you know, it'll be a bit more, but you can, you could always go het to het, you know, get a het, sunset het clown female. It'll be significantly cheaper, but your odds of hitting clown are much better, and your odds of hitting sunset, of course, will be that 1 in 4 versus the 1 in 2 with clown. And you don't know. You'll have to send RGA a shed to know that, you know, what babies are het sunset if they don't show visual. But this is what a sunset clown looks like. It's one of the best examples of one that you can see out there from Always Evolving Pythons. So quality does matter, but this is from, like I mentioned, a very quality breeder. So this is essentially kind of what you're looking at making. It's really, really nice. Very bright, very vibrant. And at the same time, you've got a really nice amount of contrast between light and dark, because that's kind of what you think about when you think of the sunset. It's kind of like a contrast, right? You've got the day meeting the night, and therefore you got this nice bright belly that's very white, like flames popping up. But when you get to the back, it's dark. It's pretty darn dark. Got that rusty undertone to it throughout the whole snake, which is what sunset's famous for. Wipes the head pattern completely out. Really, really nice. And that's what you're looking at the potential to make there. Again, there's not a lot of bids on this even, and it's only got 2 days left, and it's not a lot of money, and there's no reserve. This is a steal alert if I've ever seen one. So yeah, keep an eye on this one if you are looking for that combo, which I don't. If you're working sunset, you should be looking for that combo. We'll just say full stop right there. So alrighty, I already looked at that one, obviously. So this one here is the closest to expiring at 11 minutes or so left here. Reserve price is not met yet, which I'm thinking it could be close, but of course you never know. Does it say it down here? No, it's not. I always say bid it up to where you're comfortable. So if you're comfortable at 500, don't just bid 500 though. Heck, who knows? Maybe it's 450. So bid 450 and then walk it on up there. But long story short, there's a lot of potential in a girl like this. There's a reason that there's some interest in there. It's double het, obviously, but stranger and clown in general is a really tried and true thing. We have some of that here that we are almost 100% confident will be laying eggs hopefully soon, but she bloated up and everything. So I'm pretty excited for that. But here's the kind of potential when you go to just the stranger route with clown. This obviously has yellow belly and red stripe in it too, but it just kind of shows you that wildness that it gives to it. Really vibrant and just incredibly granulated throughout it. The combination of yellow belly and stranger, I think, really just blows that up. And then the red stripe just brings in those tingy oranges, obviously, and that rusty type color undertone into it. The yellow belly is key here, though. You know, it would still look very beautiful if this is a stranger clown, don't get me wrong, but yellow belly and stranger, that's really, really nice. And it just really just kind of blows it up. It does a lot more than people think it does. Yellow belly is the original gene, I think, that gave people some trouble in saying, like, well, why do I need something that's so subtle? Well, it's not so subtle when you get into combos, and that's, I think, what's key is people ignoring, or not ignoring, I should say, these subtle genes that do so much when they're with other things. So, Bob Ellen, what's up? Everyone's evening's been stellar, hopefully. Yeah, mine's been great. So, Hope yours has as well. But yeah, that's kind of the potential that you're looking at with something like that. And of course, I didn't even talk about the pied. I'm not sure if a stranger pied. We'll take a look. Well, yeah, stranger pied has been made, but I'm not sure if a stranger clown pied probably has. But hit bull python there. I don't want to see clowns, actual clowns. That is. I am not finding it at first glance. Wait, help if I type pied. Yeah, I'm still not seeing it at first glance. If anybody knows it's been made, let me know. You can try to find it that way, or you can point me to the breeder. Maybe I can find it that way. But still, really cool. Cool opportunity for something like that. I don't know if it'll make that reserve because I don't know what their reserve is. You know, it's obviously ultimately up to the person who puts the auction up to set that reserve. So, alrighty. Next one that we're taking a look at here, we're making some fast progress to this one. This Orange Dream Enchi Lavender Pied. So Dreamsicle, you know, I mean, I just remember not too long ago when something like this would be more than $2,500. They're nice, they're vibrant, they're beautiful. This is a girl here. You can see there's a considerable amount of interest. It won't be going for 25,000. Obviously, when it ends in an hour here. I'm not sure if we'll still be on at that time. If we are, though, I will glance at it. But they're still great, wonderful things, and it kind of goes to show you that you can start working these once thought of untouchable projects without having a boatload of money for a lot less, and you can start making some really awesome stuff. Because if this result is this much, if you wanted to make this, you could do it for even more, a lot cheaper. You know, obviously you get the ingredients to make something like this, but I would argue, you know, just, you know, the more you spend, the more you're going to get ahead, of course. But everybody's on their own budget. But if you did get this girl, let's just say she goes for 600 or something like that, it would not be beyond a stretch of an imagination to get a male that's already a lavender pied with maybe something cool in there for probably cheaper than this. I say it every week and I laugh about it every week, but blackhead in lavender, they're the best. They're the absolute best. They just they're incredible. They add this almost supernatural type glow to it. Let me try to get one here. Lavender blackhead. They're prepared better. I did for some of them, but then of course I start talking. Pied. I don't even need to do pied, honestly. That's one of. There's a leopard one right here. This is really nice because they start to change too as they age. Of course, it's from Canova. Why wouldn't it be, right? It's 8 years ago. But you can kind of just see how the stark whites and everything that go in there and how beautiful it is. This is just a leopard lavender blackhead. There's no pied in this. So it really just increases that amount of white as well. And just amplifies everything. The contrast is absolutely outstanding. And then as it ages quite well, because if it does bleed, it's going to bleed into a lavender versus a two-tone yellow like you see with your normal, just kind of albinos, which I love albinos, but that is a fact of life. So Tori, how are you? 2 in a row I haven't missed. It's a miracle. Well, I appreciate you making it, Bob. Remember to hit that. Oh, thank you. I promise that he's not paid by me. Alrighty, but a really nice one to get into there. Obviously, Enchi and OD work well together. Another really one was one one to get in there would be Yellow Belly. We just talked about it. Yellow Belly just does incredible amounts. ODYB Enchis. It rolls off my tongue because I've said it so many times because they make great combos. Let's take a look and see if this one has gone up. Oh, there's the timer. I don't know why I got threw off by that. But still a really nice girl to get, especially if you wanted to start working this project. You'd be well ahead on it. Obviously, the Some people might think that the dreamsicles have lost their luster because the price have come down, but I think that that is a wrong way of looking at things. The price has come down, so that means that it is open to more people to start thinking of new and refreshing ideas to do, because there are new and refreshing ideas to do, because there's always new genetics being discovered. And when one new genetic gets discovered, guess what? You have to start over creating that and getting that into hets and so on and so forth to get it back in. So consider that. It's a really nice girl. I think that there might be some action on that near the end. So, and before we go to the next one, I think it's a good time to do it. Sure. I released a video this Sunday with the egg cutting. Of course, they shed 2 days later, but I can show you some of them. Alrighty, let's check out here. I just got them into their tubs. They obviously have not even had their first meal, but they have had their first shed. Let's see. It's a striker. Right. Trying to find a couple different varieties of them. GHI striker. Oh, you're a nice one, I think. Yep. And where is it? You. Yeah, these three will do. These are some of my favorites from it. So I'm working the striker project, which I'm very, very excited to do. Hopefully the camera, you know what? Let me blow it up here. Of course, that kind of makes more sense, right? Okay, I'm full screen. There we go. Hopefully the light is able to capture them decently. Okay. Try and move that around. So this one here is a GHI hypo striker. At least I believe it's GHI. It's hard for me to tell, but it's dark enough that I think so. And the head especially kind of gives that like mocha type look to it, but it still obviously has that faded type look to it at the same time. Let me see if I can. Can you tone? I'm not sure what color would be best on this. It's not doing horrible, but and then the striker brings in all that crazy pattern that goes over the top of the animal. A super striker, if you can hit one, looks very much like a zebra. So much so that people think they might be the same. I don't know about that. I don't, you know, honestly, I hope they aren't the same. What I hope is that they're allelic and in the same family. That would be really cool. So this is just a striker, and I don't know if it's a hypo actually. This one, I'm not sure if I labeled it as such. No, GHI striker pastel. That's what yeah. This one's not a hypo, I don't think, anyways. You can kind of see again all that stuff going over the top of it. If you look at yourself at a zebra or a het zebra, you see what I mean in terms of that pattern. And then those create, oops, stay still on, you're good. Those blown out patterns right there. That's the GHI having its influence. Put you back. There's a boy right there. If it does prove, I'm gonna send it in for shed testing. But yeah, now you can't shed test for striker. But this one here is a GHI striker. I actually really like this one, even though it's less genes, because it's a little bit darker. And you can really see the two of those genetics just working so well together. Kind of creates this ghostly type look and all those stripings. I can't wait to get this into other things. The hypo just kind of came along with the ride because he was the male I got was het hypo. He's a fire striker het hypo, and I have a GHI pastel hypo. So I was like, okay, I want to do that. And then if I can get the male to kind of replace this male and get a visual hypo with striker in there, I want to eventually put that into, well, I don't know, lots of stuff. Monarch, not sure about clown because I saw the zebra clowns, and unless yellow belly's in it, not sure how I felt. But yeah, I really like what it does with the pattern, just stretching it over top of it. Like I said, if you look at zebra, you'll see what I'm talking about. They're really nice. So, let me see some of the comments here. Bob confirming he's not a bot. Thank you, Bob. But that is what a bot would say if I had programmed it. Hey, Adrian, how are you? ET asks if Striker is a codom or a recessive. So right now it's labeled as a incomplete dominant, which the same thing as codom, kind of, not get too technical about the term, but so it has a super form. With that said, bless you. With that said, people say zebra is a recessive, and realistically, the big difference there is nothing more than, does it show enough of a visual? I don't think you're happy about me talking with my hands. I'm sorry, I'm a hand talker. I won't do it anymore. Sorry. I completely lost my track of thought when I saw he was upset. But yeah, the big difference between recessive and incomplete dominant is that recessive do not show a form all by itself. It doesn't show anything. So like a het clown, or enough, I should say, of something like this. There's het markers. Like monsoon, they say there's het markers. Zebra, there's definitely het markers. So I'll get onto that in a second. You know, they say there's small het markers with pied, sometimes with the tracks on the belly. That does not always hold true, but it often does. But it is listed as a incomplete dominant. So you know, it really doesn't matter in terms of that. It just, you know, just know that if there's two copies, it has a definite different visual look to it, which is even more wild and crazy, which is why I'm so happy with these, because usually it's a little more subtle, and honestly, these are looking very top-notch. I am very, very happy with like all of this stuff, and even though he's not even the biggest one, I like him. I wouldn't say the most, but he's in my top 3. There's a reason I showed you those 3. And I got some regular strikers in there and everything like that too. Let me see if I can show you that one, just to show you it by itself. Where are you? There you are. I think that's you. At least I believe that this is striker. It's hard for me to test it though. Of course, there's no test. It's the first one I've ever done. But there's not a bunch of alien heads, and I don't know what else it could be doing all of that. It could just be, you know, something else, but it does do a lot of that where it kind of goes over the top, jumbles the pattern up and stuff like that. But when you're in a super form, it's very banded, very, very banded, very much exactly like a zebra. Yeah, I want to show you some of those from that video. Now that we got the camera back, I can do so. So, Warrior Garden Exotics, good evening to you as well. All right, let's get this back on computer cam. There we go. I didn't click anything wrong. All right, little diversion there, but we're gonna go ahead and move forward. Actually, we missed. I started talking. I don't know if this one auction has ended. I never saw if it got bid on. Shucks. No, it did not, because clearly it went back up. So there you go. Just when you make these auctions, you can pull. I think in fact that's what you have to do. You pull it from you know, a listing that you had already priorly made, and you can just put it on auction. So alrighty. So next one. Yes, next one is this banana black pastel clown. Possible het hypo pied. So possible het hypo and possible pied. So the definitely one that you would want to shed test for. Not you know, sometimes some of these, I think it actually got bid on more. Yeah, considerably. Not considerably, sorry. But sometimes some of these male banana clowns will go for a lot cheaper than they should, because they're males, because banana has the trait, of course, where on the males at least, they're kind of attached, that genetic is attached to the sex chromosome. So most males are male makers, meaning that every banana that this one creates should without about a 5% chance of error, be a male. If it is a male maker, which it probably is. Came from a beautiful male that came from a black pastel clown. It doesn't say which one was which, but a banana leopard triple het hypo clown pied pairing. So lots of different potentials there for things in that pairing, I'm sure. Oh, I didn't know it. I didn't even read till the very end. He is a female maker. So now flip the script. Now almost every single one of these babies will be female without a 5% error. Fun fact, last year I actually have some of them still. I have two. I have two from this clutch, a banana pied clutch I just made kind of as a pet quality type thing, and it was a male, and it's a male maker. He produced like half and half from a male. That should not be possible. It should only be, and he wasn't a super or anything like that. It should only be males or females, depending on if he was a male maker or a female maker. And I confirmed it. There's half females and half males. I don't know how those odds turned that way. Unfortunately, I had already parted with the boy, just in case, because those are crazy odds. I wish I had gotten those odds with, the lottery or something, or a different genetic. But obviously, if I had known, I would have kept him just one more year to see if I could keep that up. Because if the banana gene somehow changed or something like that, I doubt it would. I don't know how that particularly would change, but you get the point. If I could have done something with that, so it was pretty cool. So pretty sure I remember you cutting that clutch. Yeah, I have it on. We recorded almost every single clutch with for the past how many years? I don't even know. 3. Yeah. So it's been a bit, and I don't think, maybe we've missed one. Maybe we didn't put one up because it was just, I don't know. No, even that one, because we did the double het one with the clown, because we just talked about Monarch during it. So yeah, I think I put any of them. Not that matters, but still, yeah, it was it's crazy. And I think we did talk about it at the end of the video when I had him out. I was just like, I don't understand how I got these odds, but it should only be about a 5% odd per baby. And yeah. Anyways, now that you know this is a female maker, this is even better. Black pastel and banana work awesome together. With clown, I'm gonna be making some banana black pastel stuff this year, I hope. I always say hope because I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, or ball pythons before they hatch. But the potential for the possible hets here is pretty darn nice. I mean, like I said, you would want to almost immediately send in a shed test on that. So that is something I think would be a really cool potential. But even without those, black pastel banana clowns are really nice. And the fact that he's a female maker is even better. If you're making a listing, I actually recommend put that up here, female maker. Just it's a good eye-catching thing. Some people will just go, oh god, okay, cool, gotta have it. Females just generally sell for more, so some people are thinking, of course, monetarily. So it just helps your chances of selling it as well. So, all right, next up would be this lace clown boy right here. Lace is another genetic that is pretty subtle, especially by itself. When you get it into combos like this, that's kind of what you're going to see, is a little bit of whites coming up and near the belly. The snake itself will be a little bit brighter and cleaner as well. Just like this one, it's a very nice example, but you can kind of see, especially right here, what I'm talking about, this popping up from the bottom here. Whenever you get the white lace, by the way, it's very obvious. It's like popcorn. That's what I've heard it described as, and I can't get the image out of my head now. Just kind of coming up from the bottom of it, and it smushes that pattern up because of that. That is that one right there is cool, because you can breed lace into your collection. And why would you want to breed lace in your collection? Why wouldn't you? It is insane, especially when you already got it in clown there. The sort of crazy, amazing things you can make. This is one of my favorite snakes I've ever seen in my life. The one there that he's not holding, Justin, that is. But there's so much stuff, variety, and cars. Why did it play an ad? I just got through an ad. I played all the ads that you didn't have to watch ads. Whatever. But don't skip my ads on my videos, right? Whatever. anyway, there's quite a bit that it works well with. You wouldn't think maybe it would wash itself out when we're working with special. The one we just showed, that's one of my favorites of all time, is with Russo. I work Russo, so I was super pleased to see this, because Russo was just it's so hard to work because you're looking at it and you're like, is it here? But when I saw this, I was blown away. That is the brightest, one of the most intense snakes I've seen out there. I love showing this video because it's just incredibly inspiring to me, and showing people like what you can do with lace. So while you're looking at this, I'm thinking about this a few steps in the future, just getting that in there. You know, fire Russo, spot nose into that sort of stuff. So really cool animal. Let's see. I was really surprised with that. I wonder which is less likely, parthenogenesis or a male maker making females. Yeah, I think it would still be parthenogenesis that would be more crazy. But two in one, or was it two or was it three? I don't know. It was half. I'd have to look at it again because some of them I had sold, and like I said, I wish I could go back and save that male. And partially, I've even thought about saving the male I have from this just to see what happens, right? Just to see if I bred him again. But then again, it's like I've got so much room. Do I really want to make room for a probably was just the craziest odds ever? I don't know. Yeah, it might have been 3 females. So, and like I said, even if it was like, oh, you obviously had a female maker, well, then how did I get males then? So if either way, it didn't matter which one he would have theoretically been. It's just crazy odds. I just remember like just having to check so many times and like having to stop myself because it was just like, am I just not seeing the hemipenes here? It was nuts. But yeah, lace is awesome though. Another one. This one's only got 3 hours left, or 3.5. If you wanted to get lace in your collection, this is a really good one to do. And it just seems like the bidding is a little lower on some of this stuff tonight. Some people are focused on some of the heavier auctions. They can draw your eyes away from other things. Oops. And that happens. You know, I see it all the time where these combos or genetics go for amounts that they really have no business going for. Where's the dog at? There she is. You can get a steal from it. You know, obviously, as a buyer, this is a very buyer-friendly market. If you're as a seller, I understand why people want reserves. I actually personally would rather just start it at what I would, you know, what my minimum was, so to speak. But that's just me. You know, I understand the reserves, and I think that they should have as many tools out there for people. But either way, if you want to get lace, this might be a good one to get, and at a really nice price too. So, my favorite gene, Monarch, and from MSB Reptiles. She has been putting a few of them up lately. This one here looks like it was born just a couple months ago. So, hatching season is a thing. We're hoping to make some of our first visual monarchs this year, and I'm hoping to make some genetic stripe monarchs. Still got some growing on some of the absolutely crazy combos that I've started to do. But really, really great opportunity for someone to work into monarch here. I always say it, but the original monarchs were born from... In fact, the original monarchs were pastel... sorry, not pastel. Maybe they were. In fact, I think they were. They were genetic stripe monarchs, though. So when you put them together and you got that, you're like, what the heck? The story goes it was 2 dirty pastels put together, and you got that. And then they found out that Monarch was its own thing. They got it off of the genetic stripe. But that was that whole collection from the original founder was sold to MSB Reptiles. So the original Monarchs, the OGs, they're from here. So that they always say, from what I've understood, is that Monarch, whenever you get one, there's always that slim chance that it actually is carrying. That's what Tom Tarbing told me. He's just like, you never know. They all came from genetic stripes, monarchs, so maybe it's genetic stripe too. But usually you know. just had to throw that cool story out there. So a really cool animal. I'm almost always paying attention when there's a monarch up there, so I'll probably throw some sort of placeholder on there and just watch where this one goes. I obviously have quite a bit now, so you know, usually just kind of let it go if it gets too much, but if it, I won't let it go for too much of a steal. I'll steal that steal. So if you want to get into monarch and a female at that, that's a really nice one. This is a very nice one, and pastel works great with monarch, by the way. Some people think, you know, pastel's in too much, and it is, but I think pastel is a beautiful gene. It just needs to be worked into the right things, and I also think that there's different lines of pastel. I think there's some dirty ones out there which have given the rest a bad name, you know, I think that that, like, again, that this is a nice one, and that if you see the pastel monarchs, monarch itself is a very, it's not just a color mutation, in my opinion. It acts like a microdose of DG. It really cleans up the animal and just emboldens things. So that's why light genes work so well. I mean, you see that right there, and just the difference in color from what you're going to get with something like Ultramel, which is, Ultramel is amazing, by the way, but you don't get this. This is like a burgundy color. There's nothing else that has that type of coloring, just in and of itself. Very, very nice. It's why I fell in love with the genetic. It's why I can't wait to make these babies this year. I'm going to be over the moon happy just seeing a bunch of baby monarchs for sure. So like, I'm already like planning the eggs. You know how I sometimes write on them like funny things. I'm going to try to make like famous monarchs like on them. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll just write their names. Put like little Napoleon and King, which is a good king of England. Are there any good kings of England? We're American, there are none. Anyways, all right, moving along though. This is a really nice one. If you wanted to get into monarch, I definitely think that this is a very, very nice one. So, ET says so cool. Ultramel, also Ultramel expensive. I wanted to show last week, and wow. You're talking about, yeah, the monarchs are, yeah, the monarchs are up there. They are up there. But when I bought mine from Tom, my first one I ever got, which was a male, and I still have him over there. I think it was into the 3,000s, and the hets were still kind of commanding some time. And I was talking to him. He just literally gave me a het for free. Tom was such an amazing human being and a soul. If you ever had the pleasure of meeting him and talking to him, he was everybody's best friend, everybody's dad. That's what he felt like. It was just, yeah. Anyways, wonderful project, wonderful animal from a wonderful breeder. So, again, if you want to get a monarch, this is as good as it gets. All right, next up, Hurricane Clown. There's a couple Hurricane Clowns we're going to talk about here. This boy here doesn't have much time left, and I think that it could definitely be a real big steal. There's a lot of potential with Hurricane. The pictures here aren't showing the side of the face or anything like that, which I think the next one will kind of show you that, so I'll just talk about that. Right now, I just want to see the really good deal here that you could get. 25 hours left. Here's one that you can kind of see the side profile and everything like that, the jumbled patterns. And often it'll bring in a little bit of an eye stripe sometimes on a clown. Why does it say I'm the currently high bidder? I'm not even logged in, nor did I bid on this. It has 0 bids. What? I'm taking a screenshot of this.
It's not going to pop up because I turned that off.
I don't want it to pop up.
No, I mean, it's not even going to save.
What? Whatever. You all see it. Apparently I'm the current high bidder on something that's not bid in while I'm not logged in. So that's cool. Anyways, I got completely derailed here. It looks like I lost one of my tabs too. But I wanted to show you the Hurricane Clowns that we've seen. They're very nice. We saw one at a show. Hurricane Clown Bull Python. From Windy City, Norse. What the heck is it? Why is it not pulling that up? I do not know why it's not pulling up. That's okay. We'll just look at Canova again. Easy enough, right? Apparently I better prepare since I'm the highest bidder on this. Alright. Some crazy cool things you can do with the Hurricane Clown. And like I said, I mentioned it kind of sort of brings some of those eye stripes back. Like you can see it a little bit here. This is a lot going on with it. I think you know, more so that it kind of wiped those out. I'm trying to see if there's one on there. There you go. Kind of brings it back. Usually they're honestly really thick and wavy, but eye stripes are usually wiped out on a clown. So it's cool to see them come back in some cases. This one just kind of has a little, that's pretty common with the clown, so. Yeah, I guess I'm getting a new one, right? That would be, honestly, I was like, for just a second, I was like, crap, did I accidentally bid on something somehow? I was like, wait, I'm not even logged in, according to this anyways. Let me refresh it, see if it goes away. No, I'm just the current high bidder, a ghost. Yeah, I think Hurricane in general, no matter how you want to go about it, these are both males here. Obviously, to me, I would rather have a female because it is a, I believe it has a super, which would make it a co-dom. But regardless, if there was a co-dominant or a dominant, it didn't matter. It's just, it would be easier to, you could breed it in basically just as easy to your collection having it into a female. You just wouldn't breed it in as much. But if you really want to work Hurricane and get it into a lot of different things, this one would be right for it. And Hurricane and Leopard go together well. They kind of jumble things up a bit, but in different ways. Hurricane doesn't darken things quite as much as Leopard does, so they kind of still do their own separate thing while working together quite well. So, really cool animal here. We are burning through it. I think we're on our last two here. So, yeah, and at the end, of course, if anybody has any questions or wants to chat about anything else, wouldn't be an auction video without Chimera uploading something and being featured, and that would be a really nice pastel DG Clown 100% het pied. This will be up there for sure. A DG Clown that has het pied in it, no doubt there. Probably started at a higher amount. They usually start there's kind of like how I would like to start mine if I did them, at my minimum. So doesn't surprise me, but you can definitely see how, you know, awesome, you know, especially with pastel, it would look, but you don't have to look too far because guess what? There it is. Again, brought to you by Canova here. That is what the end result would be if you had hit the pied in there as well. Just crazy how awesome they just glue together so darn well, and just how creamy and beautiful it is. I wish I could go way back in time and get into GG, and then somehow magically know about DGC and do that one. If you don't know, DG has theoretically, from my understanding, there's A, B, and C, and realistically C is the one that everyone really wants to talk about, and I believe C might be the exact same thing as Enhancer is, which is far more popular, I think, in Canada, but it is here too. It's a mess, but C is the one that ideally looks the top-notch best as far as I understand. Again, don't work Desert Ghost, so if I'm mistaken, forgive me, but I believe that from my understanding that is the case. But they all work together though at the same time. I believe, yes. So I could be wrong about that. I'll get back to you. But it's crazy, but I wish I could go back in time and get into some of this stuff. So they are very nice. Hurricane combo is the one I meant. Oh yeah, no big deal. I get it. I'm always going along and I'm like, you know, I have to guess sometimes because I'm talking about something, and then I move on, and then I go through and I'm like, which one are we talking about here? But I get what you mean. Yeah. It is a very cool jump from this to this, though. That's why it's so cool when you get like these genetics together and just to see how they work just so phenomenally. Not that this isn't beautiful by itself, it's clearly bright, extraordinary. The Desert Ghost is going to keep the pastel nice and clean and crisp for us, and you know, they age quite well. That's the big thing about DG, is it ages anything quite well, keeps it nice and crisp as it ages. But this is just next level. It's just absolutely incredible, and that has pastel in it too, by the way. So there's lots of other different examples of stuff with DG. This one is a little low pattern. Well, not just a little, it's pretty low pattern. I would like to see this with a lot more. That could be great. So that's a Krypton pied. So if you don't know what a Krypton, so this is the clown, this is a Krypton. So a DG, basically it's a visual Desert Ghost, it's a visual pied, and technically this is a het cryptic het clown. They're in the same family, clown and cryptic. So they created a allelic combo. They exist on the same allele. So even though they're different genes, they combine and they work together and they create a Krypton. A cute little name, right? So let's see here. Royal X Reptile has a Barnhart Black Pastel. Yep, I know they do, and that might be our last one. Good checking out on that though. If I win that ODYB pin pied, she is going to my DG double het hypo pied male. That would be awesome. That would be really cool. Yeah, like all of those just work so phenomenally, and I actually really like pin quite a bit. I know sometimes it's so busy that it doesn't belong in everything, but where it does, I think it's awesome. Like I think that people kind of tend to look down on it for some reason. I've heard people in the same breath tell me that it's like, oh, pin, I don't care for that. By the way, Monsoon is amazing. I'm like, what? They're both crazy pattern. Like, I don't get it. But yeah, I think that would be great. I would want to hit one with pin and one without. So some clown pastel combos, really gorgeous looking. The heads tend to look really cool with clown. Most definitely, that is the biggest thing with them. Especially in combos. Clown is the king of combo. That's why when you get new genetics out there, there's two genes that everyone says, I can't wait to, they immediately put them to it, and it's clown and pied. Immediately. It's the first thing that whenever you get a new gene discovered, that people are putting it into. The bread and butter, so to speak. Real cool if she proves het hypo. Most definitely. Yeah. DG hypos are the bee's knees, at risk of sounding like I just transported out of the 1920s. Yeah, definitely hope she proves out for you, like Tori is saying. If you really want to find out, send our friends at RGI. You can actually go to their, you know what, I got time because it's the last one. You can now go straight through their website. I did this showed everybody this on the last video. Auction video. I kind of took a brief detour. But you can now just do it straight from their website. And you can use our code Rhyno, to get 15% off of your entire order. So, just there you go, ball pythons. You can click on all sorts of stuff right here. So let's look at GHI. Oh, look at that. Who's that? Who made that video? But you can order it right now, or you can just kind of go through the main thing and order it, right? So, in fact, actually, let's go hypo, right? Because that's what you were mentioning. Hypo. Can I learn my alphabet? There we go. Hypo/ghost. It's an A+ test. By the way, they rate these tests. Everything is 99%. But it just kind of goes show you, like yeah, this is a very high quality test. So it's wonderful that they have this there. The fact that the least the least rated test is still like an A++, you know, in terms of a American grading scale. So, but yeah, you can get 15% off. So we just do code Rhyno. You click in all this information. I did click out. I went through the whole thing last time. I don't want to put too much in there right now, but you just, on the next page, I think it's, yeah, there's a little box where you can put in a thing, put code Rhyno, and you get 15% off. So definitely take advantage of it. You can just test it right now if you want. So RGI is getting her shed test right away if I win her tonight. Heck yeah. There you go. Let's see. Monsoon looks cool, just expensive. Sounds silly, but I really like Orange Dream. I don't think that's silly at all. Orange Dream, people have built their empires on Orange Dream. Ozzy Boyd's, Chris Hernan. That is not silly. That is an outstanding thing to build into. And if you really want those, look into those two, Ozzy Boyd's and Chris Hernan. Ozzy is still in the game, but he's he's kind of he's still making animals, wonderful animals. He's just less involved now, unfortunately, just because he's he does a lot of stuff. So but Chris Hernan is involved. So if you wanted to talk to someone about it, you could go to a show if he's vending like Tinley or whatnot. So, hey Dickie, how are you today? Spring Creek Serpents, always some amazing deals on those auctions. I keep an eye on them for sure. Yep, every week I'm looking at these, not just for the videos. I was looking at them anyway. That's kind of how we came up with the idea. And I was just like, why not just show people? Show people, hey, this is the sort of stuff you can make too. You look at like the lesser deals, things that are cheaper, and say like, well, what can you make with that? And you can make some great things. So, realize I'm wearing an RGA shirt. Suit is really cool looking. Sometimes though, I will say from what I've seen in certain combos, I would think it looks awesome, and then it ends up looking nothing like how I thought it would. Yeah, now I've often said I think Monsoon is incredibly awesome. It is the most insane pattern wise, right? I don't use anything that comes as much as it. It's the best in terms of representing a pattern disruption. But with that comes the caveat. What can you do with that pattern? It's really working it into colors is the most ideal thing. There is some with pattern though, and we'll get into that here actually in a second, that you can still do with it to make it look even better. But with that, it's kind of the same thing as with the bells, right? You get the bells, you're like, this is amazing. Nothing is as crazy as this. Where do you go from there? Nowhere. It's a bell. It's always going to be a white snake. The all black snake. Where do you go from there? Nothing. It's always a black snake, right? So yeah. One on my bucket list. Let's go bigger reptiles expo. Yeah. If you can make it to Tinley, we're blessed to be pretty close. It's the one thing that's, I guess, okay about being close to Chicago. No offense if anybody's from Chicago. Yeah, we're kind of from the Chicagoland area. But anyways, Tinley is an amazing show though, and it's it's in the Chicagoland area. That's why I mentioned Chicago. But it's the Super Bowl of shows, just period. There's just so much to see there. I know that it's pretty dominated by ball pythons. Obviously, we're a ball python channel primarily, but there's so many animals to see. It's not just ball pythons. It is incredible what you can find at that show. Boline's pythons, just anything. Mention it, and it's probably there, unless it's from Australia. In which case, if it wasn't imported before they banned it, then it won't be there because that's illegal. Has anyone done monsoon pinstripe? I don't know. I don't imagine it would be. I think it would just eat itself up, honestly. But yeah, banana monsoon was nothing like I was hoping it would look like. I haven't looked up pinstripe yet. Brad Bow, yeah. If anybody's, yeah, Brad Bow might. He's got a lot of great stuff. So, but yeah, it is. What you can work it with is a little different. And there's still a lot of stuff that you can do. I mean, let's face it, this is an expensive gene, and it's only just now coming down. And when you're talking about it coming down, it's still in the 4,000s. That's first. I mean, people are like, "What are you talking about coming down in price? What? $4,000?" But I mean, it was 10,000 4 years ago, maybe even more, honestly. So it's coming down in price, so it's becoming a little more affordable for everybody. And as people work it, it'll become more and more affordable. And then that means more people working it into things, seeing what else you can do with it. So, all All right, speaking of monsoon, look at our last animal here, one everybody's already been alluding to, and that would be this Barnhart Black Pastel Clown Het Monsoon. And this one has proved out. They tested it twice, in fact, with RGI, and it has proved out as Het Monsoon. So, you know, obviously, that is huge. That is absolutely huge, because I just mentioned about Monsoon working well with other genes that can do pattern and such like that. Well, Clown is one of them, because it just expands that onto its head, and it just looks like a starry pattern on its head. It's just so neat and clean and awesome. It's just very beautiful. I don't think anybody's done very much else into the Clown Monsoons though, other than maybe a couple genes, and I don't think Barnhart Black Pastel, in fact I think they mention it here, be the first to make a Barnhart Clown Monsoon. That's the thing. Even if Black Pastel gets created, remember, Black Pastel and Barnhart Black Pastel are not the same genetic. They're not even polygenic like we once thought, like I once thought, and was totally convinced about. It is its own genetic. It is allelic and in the family of Black Pastel. So if you put Barnhart and Black Pastel together, they will create basically a super Black Pastel, and they will still have all those kinking things, but that's irrelevant by itself. It doesn't do that. They are awesome. Barnhart Black Pastel is far more potent. It's, in my opinion, I really like it. I have a bit of Black Pastel back here. Obviously I have like a one with GHI that's nearly a Pompe. It's missing one gene. It's not a Barnhart though. I wish it was, because it's just nicer. I don't know how to explain it. Like I said, a lot of times, for the longest time, people thought it was its own. It's just a polygenic line. So basically, a more extreme example of it. There's videos you can find of me talking about it and saying it, I'm sure. But genetically, it's been proven to be its own thing, which is really cool. And if you're wondering, well, what a... I wish I could blow this picture up. Wonder if we can. Let me get this on here. Can I zoom into it? Yes, I can. Cool. That is a Monsoon Clown. And you can see how it takes all that coolness. It just adds a nice little color tinge to it, this orangey type tinge to it. And then just expands it into the head. And along the sides of the head too. Whereas it still kind of has like a little bit of like a blank spot on the nose. Not super common, to say the least. They're stunning. They're absolutely stunning. Now, I just said something about like Black Pastel, you know, like color morphs. You got the one gene in here that I think has done the most work in terms of a recessive and in terms of a pattern working with it in Clown, because it affects the head. Now, add that Barnhart Black Pastel tinge to it, and tell me what you think you're gonna get. It's going to be very nice. And that's what you're looking at a potential of doing here. You would just need to get a Het Clown, Het Monsoon to have those odds be relatively reasonable, all things considered. Like, for real, it's a very high possibility. Now, you could go Het Monsoon. I mean, you could get a visual Monsoon, no doubt, but that's going to be expensive, right? Now, what you make will be even more expensive, I can guarantee you that. But with that said, it's completely reasonable to just get, you know, it's the keys to the kingdom have been put in your hands when you get something like this, because you can make something that no one else has done, and you can be the person that discovers that. So, let's see here. It's all over the place. Let me close this one. I'm looking up the odds. Let's just put it that way. Calculator. Or Morphmarket. There we go. So, I'll type in Barnhart Black Pastel Clown Het Monsoon. And let's just say we get a double het to save some money. Monsoon Het Clown. Okay. So your chance of hitting a clown monsoon, remember this is going to be look like, oh, it's only 6%. Not quite, because you're adding the 6%, so you're getting 12% to hit that, I think, right? Roughly, yes, to hit anything with just the combo in there, and then 6%. So it's 1 in 16. Remember, they lay roughly about 6 eggs, but 6 to 8 eggs or something like that. So, I mean, those are okay odds, all things considered. Obviously, is it likely to happen? No, but it's not these well, it's likely to happen after a few pairings. Let's just put it that way, maybe a year or two. But it's reasonably likely, in my opinion, to hit relatively soon. Maybe even your first year. There's a good chance that you get it, in my opinion, compared to other odds when you're just stretching. When you have like I've seen some of these odds that are like 1 out of 200 or something like that. And this has not been made. This top little one right here. But yeah, and everything you get can be tested for now. Isn't that great? So you could test if you did hit on that. Now you could increase your odds, ironically, by getting, let's actually just show that here. I can leave it over here now. Let's just say we got a hit monsoon clown though, a girl. You can increase those odds a lot, considerably. So your chances of hitting a monsoon clown now become about 1 in 4, roughly. In fact, yeah. But and then the version with the Barnhart Black Pastel now becomes 1 in 8, which is very reasonably possible with one pairing. Now remember, genetics is not this term of, oh, I have 8 eggs, it's 1 in 8, I'm getting one. That is not how odds work. Each time you look at a new egg, think of it as, okay, I have a 1 in 8 chance. Okay, now I have another 1 in 8 chance. It's just the more you attempt is yes. Some people mistake odds and think that, yes, I'm getting one. That's not how that works. So, very cool opportunity here. And you can check out a lot of the animals that they have here with Royal X Reptiles. They do very well with Barnhart Black Pastel. And they have Monsoon working in the collection, such like that too. So, and if you don't know, if you haven't read this yet already, it's for a very good cause. It's not just for the breeder. You right over there, girl? That's my dog. Here. Hi. Up. I'm gonna finish this show with me. There we go. Xander runs Royal X Reptiles with the help of his dad, and his dad is not in the best of health right now, so it's going to help them out quite considerably. These are animals that they would not be selling. As you can see, there's some size to this too. So you think, usually, I didn't even mention that yet, you think, you are way in the camera. Let's do this. You think that, like, oh, I got to get this up to size. Not too much time. Honestly, not too much time. Some would argue it's about halfway there. I've seen him breed even younger than, or not younger, but lighter than that. So, yeah, I don't think you got too much work to put into this to get him to start going. So if you already have some hit monsoon, hit clown stuff, plug it in pretty soon. So, very cool. Let's see some of the comments here. Made it better late than never. Yeah, I started a little earlier. There's times where I start it right about now. I don't know. I just kind of, you can expect it probably if I, every other week on a live. But then again, it'd probably do better if I actually like schedule these. But I also don't want to lie, just in case I'm busy. But welcome, Car. May serpents and stuff. What's up? How are you? Good vibes to you as well. He says, I'm waiting for someone to find the special gene as just the sweet spot with Monsoon. Yeah, I mean, this Clown so far is the best one I've seen. But I think that you're going to see stuff like Monarch, like Ultramel, that will take the cake on that pretty soon. And then eventually someone will work all three together. So, pretty sure Royal did genetic testing all the hit Monsoon they got. I think they might have now. Yeah. Kind of looks cool with Monsoon. So it wouldn't surprise me if those two genes and a few others put together and end up making something out of this world. Oh yeah, for sure. There you go. I think, like I said, I do have reservations, minor reservations, with what you can do with Monsoon beyond the color. But that doesn't change the fact that it's outstanding. Because remember, I just said that I love Pinstripe. It's one of my favorite, like, just, you know, dominant morphs or whatever it might end up being. But it's really, it's still a really cool gene, and there's still, quite frankly, so much more to throw it into. So if you were to tell someone new in the hobby for investment morphs to get into with the way the market's going, what would your recommendation be? 50,000. Oh Lord, I'd make a video on that, honestly. But with that said, if you had a $50,000 budget, I mean, heck, you get into Monsoon would be one of them. There's no doubt. And then honestly, there's some other ones. I'd have to do a little bit of research on that because you would, I mean, it'd probably be more than 4, honestly. No doubt about that. I mean, let's just face it. You're going to get into a lot of clown and pied combos with that much money. But Monsoon would be one of them. And quite frankly, pumping some of that stuff out quickly might be helpful. With the current market the way it is, $50,000 would go a long way. I probably would honestly recommend not dumping that much into it. Because I don't think you'd need to. Unless you're buying a facility. And just kind of getting to a point where you do it in stages. Where you get the females first. That's the ideal way, right? Is to buy the females and let them get up to size. And then kind of go from there. But yeah, I'd have to look at some of these like crazier newer ones that are coming out there. I mean, like there's that what is it, the Bang gene? It's not one that I'm incredibly in love with, but it is very popular, especially overseas, I think. And in its super form and such, I think it's a super form. It looks pretty phenomenal. So I'd have to look into that, honestly. You know, like I said, I'd make a whole video on something like that. So Monsoon butter would look good. I think that's been made, honestly. The Monsoon lessers or butters. Butter and lesser are different, but they're pretty similar. Exantic Monsoon. Oh, that's a good one. So yeah, to go back to your 50,000, it wouldn't be so much genetics as it would be some combos. You know, get some stuff like that, some like known combos that work well together, like the Pompeys and such like that. Stuff that you know that's going to be cool and that you can move forward with, but would still generate revenue enough to make your money back for you. Because that's the biggest thing. Is just make your money back. Don't worry about making more. You know, as long as you're making cool stuff and you're having fun, and you did make sound business decisions, you will make your money back. And then you just kind of find that it just happens that you make more. Then you dump back into it anyways. If you're me anyway. So, yeah, that might be, like I said, we've thought about doing another thing like that. So that might be something we do. I'm not sure if I'll do 50,000 though. Do you have 50,000? If you do, let me know. Show focus mostly on recessive. Yes. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. You should focus on recessive. If you're thinking monetarily. Now, obviously, think of recessives as the main course of the meal. It's what you're mostly going there for. But the spicing and the look, you know, I mean, and the decorum and such like that, and the sides, those are incredibly important. If you just had a steak and you just slapped the steak on there, it's not going to be as appetizing if you got the sides that you want and you seasoned it properly. So you might have something that's very nice and very expensive, but it's just going to be very nice and very expensive, as opposed to innovative. So the dominants and co-dominants are your spices. And that is what you want to do, is you want to get whatever combos let's put it this way. If you're just focusing on monetary, recessives are the way to go. And the reason for that is because they're harder to create. So they protect their value more. But I think Adrian's made a good point. You should work what you like, though, because your passion is just as important. And if you don't have your passion behind it to fuel it, not that there's anything wrong with monetary value. Anybody who tells you making money is wrong, nah. But your passion is what's going to fuel you forward. And if you're passionate and you're having fun, you're going to find that you're going to do better in that, and it just kind of takes care of itself. So I do recommend that. Find something you like to do. Even if it's not your moneymaker, you should want to do certain things like that. So, making sure I didn't miss any. Spider Ben with Monsoon yet? Those are both strong, so I'd be interested in seeing the outcome. I don't think so. Probably another reason why that would be a while is because, I mean, let's face it, we're just talking about the monetary value. A lot of people are going to think like, well, if I use this breeding, what is the monetary value of putting spider into this? And then you'd have to remember, you'd have to work it into that. So you'd put spider in it, you'd then get hets. So you would then need to breed that back into it. You couldn't breed the babies together because if you got spider, obviously that's no good. So, you would then need to then grow up some of those. So that's why people probably haven't invested it yet. So yeah. Oh, Royal X, how are you? Yeah, absolutely. You guys are awesome. So glad you could make it. Crazy stuff on Sunset Monsoon. That's a unicorn trade. Exactly. Color into Monsoon. That's a really that is awesome. So I've also thought of you know, one of my favorites over there, Monarch. You know, the Ultramels, stuff like that. Color. That's going to be crazy. And then, like I said, if you can get the clown in there too to keep that head really starry and nice, like I said, that's what you get when you put those together. So imagine that with some color stuff to it. And, you know, kind of go from there. So, yeah. Did you see the video RGI released on how Monsoon and Sunset travel together? You know, I actually started it. I'm glad you reminded me. I started it, and then I can't remember what happened. I got, like, literally, like, Ben was like, hi, this is Ben, and then something happened, and I had to go somewhere. So I never actually finished it, so I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes, I want to see how that is, so, yes, I'll actually probably watch that here momentarily. Yeah. Definitely lots of cool stuff there. And lots of great opportunities today. So, another shout out for you guys here at Royal X. Check out their website. Like I think I got sidetracked. I have ADHD, so I do that. You know, obviously mentioning it's going to a great cause there too. It was you that distracted me. I remember now. It's you know, great cause, great people, and a great animal. So awesome opportunity there. So pretty pupper. Yep, it's Australian Shepherd. She technically they call it like a mini. I guess they call them American Shepherds now, but I'm not doing that. She's an Aussie, aren't you? Thanks. Did you want to get down? I can't tell. Yes, you do. Alrighty. Yeah, I think that will that'll do it. If anybody's got any last minute questions, just let me know. And picture perfect pythons, absolutely. Good luck on that one. At some point, you gotta let us know if you win it. So that would be cool. So good night to y'all. Good night, Royal X. See ya. I'm not sure if you guys will be at Schaumburg or Tinley or not. I'm not sure if that'll be possible for you, but if so, I'd you know, obviously see you there. It'd be cool. So you guys are always awesome to talk to. So all right, we'll call it there. Everybody have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining, and we'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one, everybody.
Where's the end screen?
I don't know. I already said good night, everybody.
There it is.
There it is. All right, you gotta. All right, goodbye for real now.